So many truths, so many facts you just dropped. And we're going right into some more facts, or perhaps some fictions. In our next segment, fact or fiction, we're going to present some statements. And then Pich and I will go back and forth and say whether or not that statement is fact or it is fiction. So, Pich, you just did a lot of talking. You get a breath over there, get some H2O break. I'll present the first statement, and then I will say whether I think that is fact or fiction. First one, you mentioned it a little bit there. Chuma has been heating up. We've all been waiting for it. We've seen that the defense has been consistent, but the shot hasn't been falling, and now it's starting to go down. He's getting to the rim off the dribble. You know, I think maybe with people getting healthy, the whole squad's around. He's getting more open looks too. That's helping. The guy has been averaging about 24 minutes a game, 13.3 points, 4.8 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and 1.5 steals. And so just an amazing defensive presence while guarding the best guy on the other team most times. So the fact or fiction statement here is Chuma Okeke is the most important player off the Orlando Magic bench. And for all of those reasons and those statistics that I just brought up, I'm going to go ahead and say fact. I know Chuma had some doubters out there when he started slowly, and he started kind of slowly last season, but he's coming back into form and showing us the player that we all know that he can be. This guy is a big wing. I mean, he's a big dude, a true 3-and-D guy who can guard the best player on the other team. And most of the time around the league, the best player happens to be a wing, one of those, forwards that can shoot and create off the dribble. And we've got a stopper. And I mean, some of the other guys coming off the bench right now who I'm kind of comparing him against would be T. Ross, Gary Harris, and of course, Ignas Brazdeikis. I can't forget my boy Iggy. But, really, all joking aside, the two big ones are T. Ross and Gary Harris right now. Gary Harris has moved back to that bench role. And between those two, I would be like the last two that I'd be comparing him to is Gary Harris. It's between Gary and Chuma for me, because for a lot of the same reasons, I think they bring a lot to the table that's very similar. I think Gary Harris is a tremendous defender, but he's guarding the guards on the team. So still a valuable position. A lot of great guards around the league. I just like a little bit more what Chuma brings with his length, the deflections. He gets a little bit more deflections, a little bit more steals, and his size. He has the potential to get some more rebounds. Gary Harris isn't pulling down 5 rebounds, and Chuma is. So for that reason, and also I think the fact that Chuma is more in line with this core. I know that doesn't really what the statement is getting at, but he kind of gels with the team a little bit more. We don't know what's happening with Gary. So I'm going to say Chuma is the most important player off the bench. That is a fact. Pich, what do you think, sir?
Well, before I get any further, you just made a lot of great points about Chuma, and I pointed at myself when you talked about people who doubted him, because I was definitely one of the doubters, and he's been balling out of his last series of games. But there was one game in that pack where I wrote, Chuma, stop shooting threes, because I think he was like 0 for 7.
Yeah.
And maybe he needed to wrap it up. So he's either hot or he's not. And if he's not, he needs to just realize it and stop shooting. But man, his play off the bench has been clutch, and I'm not here to throw shade on the guy right now because he's balling out. And if he continues to play this way, the sky's the limit. That's fantastic. That's what you need off the bench for sure. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is fiction, and I'm going to mention a guy's name that you didn't bring up at all off our bench, and that's Moritz Wagner. This guy is balling.
I'm sorry, Moritz. I'm sorry. Disrespectful. I'm sorry.
Balling, my dude. We need a big man to come off the bench, and if Mo's not feeling it or he's in foul trouble like he was in that one game where we won, Mo is scoring at a high rate. I got to say right now, if I had my little sign here with me, had I brought it, it would probably say Moritz for most improved player. Because is there anybody else who thought Moritz would be a factor on this team this year or even get minutes? At one point, we were talking about him being the guy that goes in when the game is over. And so now he's going to get some minutes. And he has transformed himself into a player that not only can score, he can defend the inside. He gets under other guys' skin, which has a value, people. And to me, that's huge. Off the bench, Chuma's good. But we also have Ross. We also have Harris that can kind of do the same thing, guard the same player. We don't have another one of those Moritz Wagners coming off the bench. And that's no slight to Rolo, but Moritz Wagner off the bench right now is clutch to this team. The way he plays that 2-man ball and gets open and finds ways we're getting scoring off the bench because of Chuma and because of Moritz. It hasn't been because Ross has been particularly hot lately. It's mostly because those guys are finding a way to get loose and score. And Gary Harris has been hot from his corner where he loves it. But I got to say fiction on Chuma. But man, it could be any of those 3 guys right now. But I think I like Moritz more because we don't have another person that can do what he does.
Yeah, he's definitely embraced that. I don't know if enforcer is the right word, but he definitely gets under people's skin. And there, as you said, there is value in that. He riles up. I mean, Luka Doncic was definitely thinking about it in the last game.
He knows who he is now.
Yeah, he knows who he is. And DeMar DeRozan in the last game that we were at got into it. He shoved Moritz Wagner. So if you're Moritz Wagner, you're coming off the bench and you're getting superstar level guys. DeMar DeRozan, a starter in the All-Star game. Luka Doncic, is Luka Doncic. If these guys are thinking about you, Moritz Wagner, that's a huge win. That is their attention moved slightly, and that maybe is the difference in the game. So that's a great point, Piche.
I'm telling you, man, if I was doing a podcast of another team and we played the Magic, I'd be like, what's a Moritz Wagner, right? Like, because I wouldn't have known about him before the season, but this time he would be on my sheet. He would be in my game notes because he's making an impact. So that's why I say Moritz.
The German Hammer. We love the German Hammer here on the Court Cousins Germany. He is so good. We love him. We need more Moritz minutes, more. All right. Well, thank you, Court Cousins Germany, for stepping in there.